Pierre. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm in my apartment, a place I know very well these days.
I'm here in Montreal, and we've got a lot of snow, and I've been a couple times now to Kalamazoo to record with the orchestra, and I've got to tell you that we're really excited to be having you as our first external guest soloist in more than a year. This will be the very first time the orchestra plays with a soloist since last March, if you can believe it. And part of the reason that we're bringing you is that we've got some unfinished business together.
My wonderful predecessor, Dan Guston, right when I started here in 2018, took me to Grand Rapids to hear a young gentleman, he said, who is a composer pianist who is just scintillating. And we went to hear Michael Brown. And I was just blown away because of the mind of a composer in front of the piano is a very different experience. Along came this email from Michael's agent saying that he's thinking about a piano concerto, having Beethoven's themes in mind, and they're looking for partners. And, you know, commissioning is so part of the DNA of the Gilmore that I jumped on this. It's hard nowadays for a composer to have a unique or fresh voice because there's so much history, there's so much out there. But this is Michael.
2019, early 2020, finished it. I was living at the Aaron Copland House in upstate New York, about an hour north of where I am right now. In Copland's house, where he lived for the last 30 years of his life in Peekskill, New York. A very gorgeous and a real oasis of solitude and calm and serenity. He's got this gorgeous open music studio, which feels like many musical masterpieces have been written in that room at his desk, and I was very fortunate to live there.
And so you were absorbing all of this Copland there. Do you see any of it percolating out in the concerto that you wrote while you were there listening to all this?
I would say definitely. How could it not? I was in his space. I was listening to his music all the time. But the scores that I was studying to write this concerto were by Beethoven.
I have to say, that's really what struck me about the score when I first got a copy and I started to study it and started to look at it, was how quickly this music that you've written made an impression on me right off the page. And I was really devastated, as I'm sure you were too, when we had to cancel the concert, the original premiere of this piece way back in May. So when we first decided that we were going to be able to get back together with the orchestra, we figured out a way that we could assemble people on stage using, protective gear, a lot of safeguards to make sure that we're not putting anybody at risk. But when it finally came time to go and to conduct and to rehearse, I realized when I started how much I missed just being in a room with other people that were creating sound, and to be able to shape that and to think about it and to work on it. Nothing is as good or as quick or as wonderful as working with real musicians and real people who do it all.
I completely agree with what you just said. I think I'm extremely excited about doing it. I'm extremely excited about making music in a collaborative and chamber music type way and playing with strings. It's one of my favorite things to do, and to work with you. I hope I remember how to do it. I hope I remember how it all works.
Well, we're really looking forward to having you in Kalamazoo and to recording together, and for us to work together for the first time, something that has been long overdue. I've known you for such a long time. I've heard you play so many times, and this will be the first time that we actually get to perform together. And I really have to say, I'm looking forward to this like nothing else.
Thank you. Me too. I can't wait.
Okay, well, we'll see each other in real life.
Okay, take care. Bye, Julian. Where did the cameras go?
That riser there,
Yeah.
there's going to be one camera guy walking around. Good. There's going to be a GoPro like this tall, getting an eagle eye of the whole orchestra. There's going to be another GoPro somewhere here or there. It also plays their own work. What was going through your head when you first heard the orchestra playing it, like in our first rehearsal?
from the first notes of the first movement, it starts with this kind of big, the cellos and basses have this low C, and then the upper strings come in and these sort of full, lush chords. I felt instantly gratified by just the warmth and the depth of like a full string orchestra sound. Because I've never heard that before with this piece.
Right. Having you in the middle of the orchestra was for me a real revelation. Normally having the pianist kind of behind me, you're so separate from the orchestra. And I think it's kind of necessary if you want to play for a full house, for people who need to hear the soloist first and then the orchestra. But since we don't have an audience, to put you right in the middle, how did it feel?
It felt great. Last night, the way we did it with the piano literally in the center, I could see you, I could see your eyes, I could see your baton, your beats, much better than if I was doing that. And
Absolutely.
I could also hear better. I was making contact with the second violins, the cellos, the basses behind me.
Right.
So it almost felt a little bit more like chamber music, and I think that was
the intent,
kind of
wasn't
the
it?
intent. I
That's
mean,
what we
in a way, the
wanted.
piece is for piano and strings. There's not 20 lines of music, but rather just the piano plus the 5-string groups. So it definitely felt like we could really communicate more this way.
It was a bigger sound. The top sounded much more beautiful than I'm used to hearing a piano from the conductor's point of view.
Well, that's because you have a beautiful piano in Kalamazoo.
You like it?
I like the piano.
Oh,
yeah.
good. Oh, good. I'm so happy to hear that.
So Julian and wonderful Jessica got talking, and I said, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could collaborate with the Kalamazoo Symphony to bring Michael in this season. I'm so thrilled. I want to thank everybody at the Kalamazoo Symphony for helping with getting this project off the ground. Thank you to Julian. Thank you to Michael. He sent me a copy of the score with the beautiful note in it. And we're just so happy to be part of it, and I can't wait to hear it.
I mean, you know this is a big piano town,
It is the piano town. We're sitting in the piano town.
right? And you've been here a few times.
This is my third time here, yeah. And it feels, there's something very exciting about the vibe of the piano community. The fact that we can nerd out on the pianos and
Right.
almost speak the same language
Right.
with the people here. The piece begins from a cell alone, and how it grows into working with you and the Kalamazoo Symphony and the Gilmore organization. It's this whole sort of melting pot of ideas and personalities that bring the piece to life. That it's the score is one thing, but for me that's only a starting place. Working with you was really unbelievable. I mean, you're
Likewise.
amazing, and the Kalamazoo Symphony was wonderful, and the personalities and everyone involved in the Gilmore Festival. I mean, I love this city, and so for me, it's my third time here. It felt like a home, like a perfect place to give this piece a home.
Great.
And I felt so honored and thrilled about it, and to see where it goes, and to have this unique opportunity as a composer right now, especially during still these challenging times.
What we were able to share last night, I'm so thankful that we finally made it happen.
Yeah.
Michael, it's been great having you in Kalamazoo with the symphony.
Thank you, Julian. Pleasure. So great to be here.